conclusion inevitable.
It was a jump to conclusions, Matt.
My conclusion was that this idea was not a practical deterrent.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
In conclusion.
Hello there, folks! Welcome back to In Conclusion, the only movie podcast where all of our ancestors are named after the signers of the Declaration of Independence. I am Dan O'Keefe, son of John Hancock O'Keefe, and joining me today, as always, is Anna Martha Washington Otto. How are you, Anna?
Amen. I was going to say I'm either Anna Martha Washington Otto or Anna Betsy Ross Otto. Those are the only two.
The only two women.
Only two options that I can think of off the top of my head.
Neither.
Sorry, women.
I realize that neither of them signed the Declaration of Independence, so I'm sorry.
No, but well, Martha less so. Sorry, Martha. But Betsy was. We were taught to believe that Betsy was important.
That's true.
I don't know. Sewing is cool, so there's that.
Also joining us today is Cassie Gherardini, who we are going to refer to for the entire length of this podcast as Abigail Adams. How are you, Abigail?
Hello, I am doing great.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'll be the representation of the Italians who signed the Declaration of Independence, I guess.
Did anyone?
I don't think so.
Italy?
Just, thinking of my ancestors.
It's okay. There were no Germans who did either, so that I know of off the top of my head.
I don't think there were Irish people either. I'm not saying Irish people who signed the Declaration of Independence. I don't think Irish people existed at that time.
There were no Irish people in 1776. None.
Yeah, we all know the short history of the nation of Ireland.
Yep.
And the Irish people. So, the movie that we are talking about today, you know it, you love it, you've joked about it. It's National Treasure. Released on November 19th, 2004, right in the peak of Oscar season. Directed by John Turteltaub, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, written by John Koof, and then Cormac and Marianne Wibberley, two names that I wish that I was named, starring...
I love the last name Wibberley, right? That's kind of everything.
It's like the Wibbards of Wibberley Place.
Me.
Starring Nicolas Cage, Harvey Keitel, John Voight, Diane Kruger, Sean Bean, Justin Bartha, Christopher Plummer, and... one cast member from Hannah Montana. Can you guess who?
Jason Earls. I was so excited. I didn't think he was going to get billed. And I was like, as soon as Dan finishes, I'm going to say, and also Jason Earls.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, he has like a 2-second scene. It was all the rage back when the movie came out. He looks like a big baby in this one. So
yeah, he was only like 25 when they filmed this.
Oh, God. Really?
Because he was in his late 20s when he was cast in Hannah Montana, and this came out in 2004.
I know. Yeah,
that
true.
That could be you and me, Anna.
That could be us. That's how I'm trying to be, if I'm being honest.
So the movie had a budget of $100 million. It made $347.5 million, and on Rotten Tomatoes, it has an approval rating of a tight 46%.
Only 46. This should be a straight 100. Certified fresh.
Also, it is something that I didn't realize until I started watching it. It is 131 minutes long, but that includes literally 10 minutes of credits, at least in the Disney Plus version. And I was like, "What? There are not 10 minutes worthiness of credits. Just don't credit some people. That's how it should work."
It just says Nick Cage for 10 minutes. Just his name.
Just him reading a list of people that he thinks worked on the movie, but he's not sure.
Yep.
Well, when I was watching it, I really felt like, because, I would pause it occasionally. And at one point, it was like, not to spoil anything, but it was right after they had stolen the Declaration of Independence. And,
does that happen?
Oh, that's such a spoiler, Cassie.
And, like, Pierce wasn't really watching, but, like, he looked over to the TV and was like, how is there only an hour left? I feel like there's so much more that happens in this movie.
Only an hour? What do you mean
I know,
only
yeah.
an hour?
That's funny, because I got the completely different read on the movie. I was like, halfway through, I was like, how is there an hour left? They only have like 1.5 more things that they need to do until they get nationalized treasure.
I mean, I do feel like the movie moved quicker than I remember, but I also haven't watched this movie in literal years, like, at all.
Well,
So, like, at least sitting down and watching the whole
do
thing.
either of you remember the first time that you saw it?
No.
Yeah, I was trying to think, and I don't remember the first time that I saw it, but I think that it was, like, I'm sure I saw it in the theaters. I feel like this was, like, the time that, like, my grandma was taking me to go see movies all the time. So I feel like I saw it in theaters, but yeah, I don't specifically remember. But I do remember being, like, a little bit low-key obsessed. I don't know if this is what kickstarted my fascination with secret societies. It's just interesting.
Wait, what came first, the Da Vinci Code or this movie?
The book, The Da Vinci Code, this movie before the Da Vinci Code movie.
Yeah.
No. Oh, so it goes the book, then this movie, then the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if Da Vinci Code came before or after, like, the book itself, the idea of the Da Vinci Code came before or after this movie, and I was like, wait a second, was somebody inspired by National Treasure? No one was inspired by National Treasure. Dan Brown is Wait, right?
Yeah.
Dan Brown wrote that book? Yeah, he's quaking that I even mentioned it.
He's
got Tom Hanks on the phone right now.
He's also quaking because he's like, wait, did you read any of my other books? They're all the same.
No. Why would I when I've read both the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons?
I only got like 150 pages into Angels and Demons, and I was like, nothing is different. I'm reading the same book, even though it came out before.
Well, yeah. Wasn't that, like, the biggest complaint with that book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the biggest complaint with all of his books.
I think I read the Da Vinci Code, like, when I was, like, a kid. Like, I was, like, in high school, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I do remember, like, when, this is not about National Treasure, but I do remember when, I think it was when the movie came out, and so there was, like, all of the talk about the movie and, like, about the book. And at that point in time, like, I was in Catholic school, and I remember, I think that I thought that, like, when people were talking about the Da Vinci Code, that was, like, real. So
okay, but, like, wouldn't it be so much fun if it was?
I know, so I think
you know?
I, like, said to somebody, like, at school in some kind of, like, serious capacity, being like, well, Mary Magdalene is in the Last Supper, and, like, it was,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
Oh,
So,
goodness.
Anyway.
Yeah, back to National Treasure. I like you, Cassie. I probably saw this in theaters. I don't remember, but this was definitely a movie that, like, my whole family would have gone to. And
Yeah.
I remember going to see the sequel in theaters for some reason. Like,
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a
actually
vivid memory
I do too.
of like 3 seconds of the movie and being like, "Ooh, this is fun." So do with that what you will. I was looking at reviews, and Roger Ebert's review of this, it says that it is so silly that the Monty Python version could use the same screenplay line for line. And Anna,
I'm offended.
I'm wondering what you think of that.
Okay, I love this movie, like, no shame. I forgot how much I love this movie until I was watching it. And I was like, wait, why is every second of this movie better than the last? There are some things that I'm like, that was stupid, but I thought it was good. I didn't think it was laughable. Why are you both being silent? It makes me nervous.
I guess, like, because I also, like, I love this movie. And I mean, I knew that before I watched it this time, and I don't remember when the last time I watched it was. But, like, watching it now, and, like, you know, watching it from the perspective of, like, I'm an adult now, I guess. Like, yeah, you know, at first I was like, man, I feel like Nick Cage was really good in this movie. And then watching it, I'm like, you know, he's still Nick Cage.
Oh man, now I'm scared that if I go back and I watch Raising Arizona or whatever.
I think that's one movie that he's actually kind of good in.
Okay, good. I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, am I gonna go back and watch that and hate it again?
But anyway, but I do agree, and I don't know if it deserves necessarily that scathing of a critique. But
that sounds like somebody who's just a little bitter that they weren't asked to be in it.
But I feel like part of my memory of this movie is that, like, not only did I really love it when it came out and I saw it as a kid, but, like, my whole family loved this movie. Like, my dad loved this movie. To the point that, like, you know, when we took, like, a family vacation to Philadelphia when I was in, like, 10th grade, my dad would be pointing out all of the different, like, you know, things.
Oh, yeah. My mom asked me what movie we were doing next, and I told her National Treasure, and she's like, oh, I love National Treasure. It's like,
it's a national treasure.
It is. Truly, it is.
It's like, you know how there are those movies that are definitely, like, dad movies, like the Expendables, to do a current version of it, or, like...
I was going to say every Indiana Jones and James Bond film ever, and I am not ashamed to be saying that.
This is like a dad movie for the whole family.
Yeah.
Because it's got everything that dads want. It feels like you're studying for some test that's never going to happen. But also, it has Justin Bartha playing a literal child.
True. It's so good. It's so good. I don't care what anybody says. It's just fun.
It is.
You know, it's just fun.
I was surprised. Like, I feel like generally when I watch a lot of the movies that I really loved as a kid, I, like, cringe a lot, and I feel like I did not cringe quite as much. Like, it's still entertaining.
I feel like there's always something that doesn't age well in these movies, and I feel like the amount of things that didn't age well in this movie were substantially less than some of the other films we've covered. And they're way more minor. Like when Nick Cage takes his team back to his dad's house and the dad is like, who's she? Did you get her pregnant? Okay, that's like assuming, but also it's not the most harmful thing that could ever be said. You know what I mean?
And I feel like
I
definitely don't remember the amount of just, like, casual misogyny towards Dr. Chase. But
don't even get me started.
But I do feel like it, like, probably got the same response when it came out in 2004. Like was that ever okay?
Yeah. I feel like it's the kind that we see and we go, ugh, but at the same time we're like, well, what? I literally have in my notes, of course they were expecting Dr. Chase to be a man. Down with the patriarchy.
I think we should get into the movie.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Start off right at the beginning. So,
with Jason Earls.
Immediately, we start off with a flashback that then goes into another flashback because we are operating on a completely different plane of consciousness in this movie. So basically...
We're actually talking about Inception.
Yeah. The child, Nicolas Cage, is speaking to his grandfather who, joke's on him, was a Nazi. Who knew?
No. What? Christopher Plummer was an anti-Nazi in The Sound of Music.
Well, he was a Nazi anti-Nazi, wasn't he?
What?
I'm sorry. I am not remembering The Sound of Music correctly. I'm thinking of the son
I'll tell you.
Who was like a Hitler Youth kind of kid.
Oh, that's Rolf.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, I'm going to excuse this because I love you like a brother, but it's very trying. Okay? I can't believe you just made that mistake. I did not spend weeks on Christopher Plummer thirst TikTok for you to be disrespecting him like this.
Okay.
Does that exist?
Anyway, I don't know how I got there. It does, and I don't know how I got there. It was like that I see red video while he's ripping the Nazi flag, and I was like, what's happening? I was like, yes, but also I don't like this.
So
Oh, choking on my own spit. Hang on.
Yeah, I think Anna's choking on your
Ooh,
lust,
it was a little-
not your own spit.
Little too hot
Yeah.
for a second. My bad. Okay, continue on.
So, Christopher Plummer is telling the child Nicolas Cage about the history of their ancestors. Basically, they hid a treasure from the Knights Templar. They are the Knights Templar. Nicolas Cage wants to be knighted, but his dad, John Voight in a wig...
Stop. Jeez,
I'm sorry, were you
Louise,
thirsting
Dan.
over John Voight in a wig, too? I assume whenever you
No,
cough,
I
it's
just
your
wasn't
thirst.
prepared for you to... Oh, God, I just wasn't prepared for that. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
John Voight in a wig has no time for hokey religions and ancient weapons. So he's like, don't listen to him, but his grandpa's like, oh, your father never believed anything. And then Nicolas Cage is like,
Plummer shaking his fist.
I want to be a knight! And then Christopher Plummer is like, okay, you're a knight. And that's the end of National Treasure.
That's
Yep, that's the whole movie.
Yes.
It's so cute, though. Like, it's a cute little moment with him and his grandpa.
It is.
A good memory.
Also, they only used makeup to de-age John Voight here. The de-aging on him, impeccable.
Yeah, it's really
far better
quite
than the
good.
digital ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does look good. It looks crisp and believable, as opposed to some de-aging I've recently seen. One might say it was in The Mandalorian.
Oh my
We don't
God.
need to talk about that.
Pearson, I just finished that. We just finished it the other night, so no, I
Yes.
feel you.
All right. Yes.
So, 30 years later, in the modern year of 2004,
Modern.
Nicolas Cage is now a historian, cryptologist, and actual job description treasure hunter, hunting for treasure in the Arctic Circle with Sean Bean dies at the end, and some other goons looking for a ship.
Okay, Sean Bean, a certain ex of mine, not one that Dan would know, but one Cassie would know quite well. His favorite actor was Sean Bean, and I think about that a lot when I watch this movie. Because why?
Wait,
No offense to Sean Bean, but
which ex was that?
my first college boyfriend.
I didn't know that about him.
I don't understand why anybody would choose Sean Bean as their favorite actor. No offense, Sean Bean. But let's just continue on. I just wanted to get that little roast at Sean in there.
Crispy.
Can we also just talk about that Nick Cage's character is literally named Benjamin Franklin?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Not Benjamin. I literally put in caps, not Benjamin Franklin Gates.
I had forgotten that was his full name.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like, you know, like I would think that like it's very James Severus or like Albus Sirius.
Oh god, you're named after the best man
You're
I
named after
ever
the
knew.
bravest
Okay,
man
but like,
I ever knew. Alexander Hamilton Benjamin Franklin Gates.
absolutely rolls right off the tongue. Who in the Disney drawing room, writing room, whatever, who sat down and went, you know what this man's name should be? This character's name should be Benjamin Franklin Gates. And that was responded to with applause and cheers and agreement. Why?
It was greeted not only with that, but also with somebody going, yeah, you know what his dad's name should be? Patrick Henry Gates. And his dad, John Adams Gates. Not John
hate it. Throw it
Adam
out.
Gates. John Adams.
Honestly, I know somebody who's named after the Dave Matthews Band. His name is Dave Matthew, though.
Mm-hmm.
Not Dave Matthews. Why didn't we just change it a little bit, you know? I'm already exhausted, and it's 0.5 minutes into this movie.
Then there's other moments in this movie that are just very like pro Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin was the genius. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hero worship, but you know that's a movie.
Yeah, I mean it is like if there is a problem, you know, with this movie, I mean there's many probably, but
there's none, Cassie.
This is a perfect movie.
This is a perfect film. It scored 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Best Picture winner, National Treasure.
you know, I don't think our founding fathers are necessarily the heroes that, you know.
Yeah.
But
No.
I digress.
Nobody's, I mean, without getting into their flaws, slavery, nobody's perfect, you know? Like, that would, yeah. Anyway.
This is a required text in your childhood for the American civil religion.
God. Can you imagine your teacher rolling that AV card in and being like, let's put on National Treasure? Oh, man.
Be sure to take
Absolutely,
notes. There'll be a test.
Absolutely. Got it. Ready to pass.
So they find the ship, and they also find a meerschaum pipe, which when I hear that, I am only reminded of Buddy from the Dick Van Dyke Show talking about his meerschaum pipe in a very strong New York accent that I won't do right now for the sake of everybody else's health and safety.
Thank you,
You're
Dan.
welcome. So Sean Bean's like, wait, I thought the treasure was on the Charlotte, which was the lost ship. But no, it's only a clue. And the next clue is on the Declaration of Independence. So, what do they got to do? Well, they have to steal it.
Oh, the absolute crux of this movie.
They take some, like, routes to get to that conclusion. But also, another thing, because on the Charlotte, like, they find the clue, it's on the pipe, and it's on, like, it's like a scroll stamp. And, like, whose initial inclination when you need to, like, make a relief imprint of something is to, like, stab your thumb?
Thank you. My number one response, I said, stabbing your own finger so that you can read what it says on that pipe couldn't be me. Like, they'd be like, who's willing to sacrifice their finger? And I'd be like, no, could not be me. Oh, God. I would have passed out right there in the wreck of that boat.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. Also, my next note is Sean Bean really always evil, huh?
Yeah.
Like, that's just... Oh, man.
But as Cassie says, they do have a discussion before deciding to steal the Declaration of Independence. And this also causes Sean Bean and Nicolas Cage to have their breakup. They break up. It's sad. It's tearful. They do one last kiss before they go. Just kidding. Sean Bean tries to kill him.
Move on and be who I am. They sing that. They sing "Gotta Go My Own Way."
What about us?
Oh.
And of course, because Nicolas Cage is a goody two-shoes, he returns to Washington, D.C. and tries to report what is going to happen, that somebody's going to try to steal the Declaration of Independence to the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the PTA, the WPA, the World Trade Organization.
Excuse me, what did you just say,
What?
Daniel?
I'm sorry, what?
The gobble me, swabble me, swabble me. Oh my God, turn this off. The gobble me, swallow me Association of America.
I said the WPA, not the WAP.
I thought you said WAP. Oh, kill me. I'm gonna go home now. I am home, but I need to go home.
Home.
I feel like the most realistic part of this movie is that the FBI cannot do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
controversial take, but
as we've learned in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is it controversial and too soon for me to share that National Treasure meme when the time comes? You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh no.
We'll see.
No, it's
Will
timely.
that politicize our podcast too much?
Well, I feel like one of the ways that this movie like tries to get away with the fact that it's like glamorizing like the highest of high treason and like federally like punishable crime is by being like, well, we have to steal the Declaration in order for it to not be stolen by these people who are worse than we are.
Yeah.
That's sound logic to me. I don't know what you're talking about, Cassie. Everything about that makes sense.
We have to light the building more on fire to save it from the people lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have to light it on fire first.
I also feel like there is no way that hiding in the, like, stowaway or whatever, like, hold of this ship would have made it so that they would survive the whole thing blowing up. Anyway.
Was the stowaway made out of lead while everything else was wood?
Yes.
Also, R.I.P. to
Don't lick the walls.
to that piece of history that is now just up in flames. You know.
Yep.
It's fine.
Rip, rip, rip.
It's been distributed across the plains.
Where was the archaeologist? You know.
I
Nowhere to
think
be
it was
found.
Nicolas Cage, which is saying something.
No. Well, then he made the choice.
So they also report the future robbery, which I don't think you can report as a crime, to Dr. Why didn't I just read the name. Dr. Abigail Chase.
Dr. Chase.
Yeah, at the National
Who
Archives.
we're all surprised is not a man.
I know, we're all surprised. Played by Diane Kruger, who I think you could say is best known for being Bridget von Hammersmark in Inglourious Bastards. Or as Dr. Abigail Chase in National Treasure.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I feel
Dan.
like that's what I know her
Thank
for.
you. I've only seen Inglourious Bastards one time, and I could not have told you she was in
I've
that
seen
movie.
that.
You know how many times I've seen this movie? A million.
And she, hearing this, is like, no, that's not going to happen. So Nicolas Cage, proving everybody wrong, steals it himself. With the help, of course, of actual child Justin Bartha.
First of all, he low-key cute.
He is.
Okay. Second of all, she should have listened. She should have taken them seriously. They came to her with a tip. She has no one to blame but herself. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and I mean, the FBI has that to say too when they show up afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, as much as like I feel like the character of Riley is like it's such a trope. Like it's such the the nerdy computer friend is the comic relief of the heist, like whatever. But like he's funny. I don't know.
And he's cute. Like
really
I love
enjoy
it.
him in
He's
this movie.
bringing. Yeah, me too.
I keep thinking
He's-
that Justin Bartha is married to Neil Patrick Harris.
That is not
That's
correct.
not correct. Who is Neil Patrick Harris married to?
NPH
I feel like I can
husband.
picture him, but I don't know his name.
David Bertka.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Equally as handsome, if not more.
They don't look anything alike. They're both
No.
white men with brown hair, and that's really it. So basically,
That's-
Now you
exactly
see my
the same.
issue.
I'm married to
That's-
Neil Patrick Harris.
We all are, truly. Well, maybe not Cassie. Pierce has long hair.
Yeah, that's true. But I just feel like this whole like stealing the Declaration thing, like it just looked like obviously it just looked easy is what I'm trying to say.
It did look really easy. He just kind of had to sneak around like
Cassie and Dan
tiptoe.
are like, I'm gonna go steal it right now.
And type
I
in a
mean, they
password.
set it up ahead of
Also,
time.
yeah.
Nobody even seemed concerned.
Yeah, and like it seemed shockingly easy to break into the National Archives security camera system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what? And then
And can I-
also that they had a password, like that Valley Forge is the password to anything in the US like government system. Like that's a bad password.
Why isn't it like a Valley Forge 1 exclamation point, like the A's or at symbols
Yeah.
and the you know
or,
what I
like,
mean?
just
Like
something that
there
is
should
not
be
related to US history.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's like your pet and your
Yeah.
house and your
Well, that's
parents
like, it's
and
like
I
the
don't know.
equivalent of like having my like passwords be like my cat's name, which she's made an
Yeah.
appearance right now.
I saw her.
on
I saw her
schedule.
walking in and I was like, "Hi, Char."
I think they should have made
I'd
the
also like to
password,
mention-
just a very long sentence. It could be related to American history,
Oh god.
but just like, do not try to steal from us, Benedict Arnold. We will find you.
Yes. Oh, I was going to say my favorite president is George Washington 1234. That's the password. No caps, no spaces. Also, I was going to say one thing Riley mentions offhandedly in this movie is he goes, "It's just a bunch of 8th graders on field trips," and I was triggered because I didn't go on my 8th grade field trip to DC.
Me either.
Because, yeah, I don't even remember why. Probably because there was not enough chaperoning
Yeah.
and Also, it was really expensive.
So my grade school, because I went to the Catholic school, we did not do an 8th grade field trip to DC. We really didn't. No.
Really?
We did.
I was in Catholic school too, and we did.
I was shook. I think though, like even for being like a Catholic, like a private school, I feel like we were not a great like Catholic like private school. My grade
just a
school
little extra
no
strict.
longer exists. It closed.
Oh,
which is, like,
good.
It feels very weird to me to be like 25 and have gone to a school that's now closed. But anyway, we did an 8th grade field trip to Wisconsin, but.
Hey, hi.
But anyway, but like all of the other grade schools around me like did the 8th grade Washington DC field trip, and like I had lots of friends from theater who like were going to the public schools, and they all went on this trip, and I was like so jealous.
Did any of them get to go to a Wisconsin ropes course? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Alas, no. Yeah.
Flex on them, Cassie. Flex on the haters.
But then, like my brother, because when we moved the year before I went into high school, and so my brother ended up getting moved into the public schools where we moved, and they were like the only middle school in the area that did not take a Washington DC field trip. And the like
your parents really said make sure Clayton has the same experience as Cassie.
But, like,
no special
I think
treatment.
they went to Springfield though, so it was more
the capital.
But the like rumor around, which I hope is true. I know it's not true, but like my heart of hearts hopes it's true. But like the rumor going around was like once when they went on their field trip, some kid like spit on a senator, and so then they couldn't go again.
That's wild. We had this is a sad rumor.
True,
well,
but...
we had a rumor. We had a rumor in my high school that a kid sexually harassed a cast member in Disney World, and that's why we weren't allowed back in Disney World. That's not as fun. That's just sad.
Well, I will have another school field trip that comes up in this movie because my choir sang on the USS Intrepid when I was junior. Yeah.
Look at you, bougie.
I don't have any rumors of why trips were canceled. They just got canceled. Or they didn't. I don't know. I went to a very boring public school.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Oh, the second rumor was about my public high school, just to let everybody know. Not about 8th graders.
Good.
Not about 8th graders.
I mean, it's not good. It's better.
Not good, but makes more sense.
In my mind, I have combined your rumors, and now someone spat on a cast member who was also a sitting U.S. senator. And it was Mitch McConnell.
I wish.
Can you imagine him at Disney World? I can't. Truly, I cannot. There'd be no joy.
Everybody step in the log flume. Put the seat
Sir,
down.
I'm scared. Sir.
He's a Dementor.
Put the seat down?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, God. There are no Dementors at Disney World.
I don't know.
That's Universal.
They're Universal.
I know, but I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. Anyway.
So they steal the Declaration of Independence. It's really just Nicolas Cage. No one else. Justin Bartha helps him with security shit. And then when they are leaving in their very inconspicuous beat-up red van outside of the National Archives, they run into Dr. Chase, who's like, wait, something's wrong. So...
Who's wearing the cutest dress I've ever seen in my life. It's a tea-length black dress, in case anyone was curious.
I remember that dress. Like, I loved that dress as a kid. It's so good.
Gorgeous. I remarked to Gage that I wished I had a reason to wear dresses like that in my life right now, but I don't.
So, she chases after them, and then gets kidnapped by Sean Bean. So now she's a part
nightmare,
of the story.
Truly.
Not for your first college boyfriend. That'd be the dream.
Yeah, I don't know why. I truly don't.
And, of course, now the FBI is after them. FBI agent Harvey Keitel, the third Oscar-winning actor in this movie, behind Christopher Plummer and Nicolas Cage.
For what?
For Moonstruck.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I meant for Nick Cage, really?
Yeah.
Is he the one that won for Moonstruck?
No, for Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh.
Sounds fake.
Moonstruck is another one of my family's favorite movies.
I've never seen it, but I knew that it wasn't one with Nick Cage in it.
I mean,
how does it hold up to Sister Act?
I don't really know. I mean, Moonstruck. Nick Cage is in Moonstruck.
Yes,
but I haven't seen it in a long time. So my family loves it because it's a quite accurate depiction of Italian Americans. So they laugh about it a lot.
Speaking of Italian Americans, Harvey Keitel, he starts tracking Nicolas Cage down because he has Nicolas Cage's credit card information because, of course, he paid credit when buying the fake Declaration of Independence. First mistake.
Yeah.
Never leave a trail.
Mistake number 1, always carry cash on you. Just kidding.
So they can't go back to the lab that they had set up to read the back of the Declaration of Independence that they have somehow rolled up and put into a map case.
Why didn't that paper not immediately break in half?
Dissolved.
Yeah,
it would have. Human touch?
There
I
are
don't think
so
so.
many times that it should have disintegrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's also,
because
sort of backtracking a little bit, because, I mean, throughout the, there's, the whole chase scene with, the car, and Dr. Chase has been kidnapped, and all of this stuff, and they're all, scrambling for this, the document case that has the Declaration in it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of time, at one point she's holding it at gunpoint, and this started a variety of times in this movie where I thought to myself, I get that this is a very old, priceless document that is important to the country's heritage, whatever, but I would not die for the Declaration of Independence.
There is not a single piece of paper on this earth I would die for. And there's a scene near the end when Nick Cage drops her to grab the Declaration, and she's like, I would have done the same thing. I'm like, what?
Right, that's another point where I was like, I would not die.
People are more worthless. People are more priceless than documents. I'm sorry. It's the truth.
They made some very convincing replicas of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got the gist. We have the content. We know what it is.
And it's the whole thing of where they're and then it goes into this temperature controlled vault when it's not on display. And I'm like, this is a relatively worthless piece of paper. Why? Outside of this specific instance, why would you want to steal this? Anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
Also, you never know, Cassie. Those historians, they're ruthless.
In reality, there is no text left on the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
It is all faded out. It's just
faded.
A piece of old paper now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Roll it up and smoke it. I don't care.
Daniel!
Not me, of course. I'd be coughing too much.
Same.
So they can't go back to Nicolas Cage's lab, so they have to go to Nicolas Cage's dad's house. Of course, played by Jon Voight without a wig. Jon Voight, today best known for his deranged Twitter account.
Yeah.
Lord above.
And, of course, Jon Voight's like, no, it's a myth. There is no treasure. And Nicolas Cage doesn't listen to him. He also thinks that Nicolas Cage has gotten Diane Kruger pregnant, as we mentioned before.
There's pregnant?
All of this, because they really try to write in this romantic tension between Nick.
There's none.
There's none. There's literally none.
Yeah.
When they kiss, I'm like, why? What about the friendships we made along the way?
It should really be Nicolas Cage and Justin Bartha kissing. They're the ones that have grown closer through this.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine?
Would be a better movie. I don't know,
That would have
I'd watch it.
Broken the brains of 2004 America.
2004 wasn't ready.
This was peak Rock Against Bush time. Do you think anybody had time above that?
No, we were busy. Things were so simple back then.
So they discover the secret cipher clues written on the back of the Declaration of Independence by pouring over their cocktail mixture, lemon juice, and a hairdryer on this 200-year-old piece of paper.
You forgot sensual blowing on the
That's
paper
true.
first. Then
Who
hairdryer.
has so many lemons just on hand in your home?
I mean, maybe they really ransacked the old pick and safe before
But,
they went
like,
out, you know?
But they went to his dad's house. Like, it's not even like the prepared, like, where they had all of their supplies. Like, Papa Gates just had 1,000 lemons. Like,
he's just trying to ward off scurvy, you know?
His dad is probably one of the lemon-stealing whores that I have heard so much about.
yeah.
Oh, so
and
much.
then there's, like, the whole, there's the whole thing where she's like, well, there's, like, if there is something on the back of this, there should be a, like, notation on it in the corner. And they're all like, really? Like, wow, you knew that? And it's like, she's, like, running the National Archive.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dude, she's a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, you really think she just... No, I don't know anything. I'm just a girl. I'm just sitting in this chair. No.
I need a
Meanwhile, if it was me out there, of course I'd have no idea.
big man
But
with
I didn't
a
get a
hairline
degree.
starting in the middle of his head to tell me what to do.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so they figure out that the cipher refers to the Silence Do-Good letters, which was one of Benjamin Franklin, not Gates, strictly Benjamin Franklin's pen names. So, of course,
Not Bill Gates.
they need to go to the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. Now let's go on a road trip.
Oh, Philadelphia Freedom started playing in my head the whole time this scene is happening. Elton John. Love him.
In Philadelphia, they go and interpret the clue, and they figure out, well, actually, he pays a little kid to get all the uppercase letters.
That little kid said the grind doesn't stop, okay?
Yeah.
He was trying to make a quick,
But
10
but
bucks?
Also, like, because, like, looking at that kid, like, he looks to me to be about, like, a 4th grader, like 8,
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
age. And that was, like, about how old I was when this movie came out. And
Where are his
well,
adults?
exactly.
I'd just
I
like
was
to say.
I feel like I was taught, like, stranger danger, don't talk to strangers, like, don't take money from strangers, and this kid is just like...
Give me that
Yeah.
dollar and I'll get you whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, those are my two attitudes as an adult. Stranger danger and give me that dollar and I'll do what you need me to
Yeah.
do to get you to the next
I
clue.
also feel
But
like this is...
pay up
Yeah.
front.
But this is like just another example. There have been plenty of other examples of this in this movie, of like that they interpret the clues correctly the first time, every
Immediately.
time.
Yeah, couldn't be me, honestly. I'd be like at the wrong place, the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, so confused, bumbling, truly bumbling.
And
Huh,
Nick Cage,
this letter references someone named Jill. Jill is close to Will. We must go to Colonial Williamsburg and find someone named Jill, and if they'd be correct.
What?
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I'd be like, Jill, I don't know.
And,
Not for me.
and they reach the right answer every time by Nick Cage thinking aloud the whole thing. There is
would
no
irritate me.
subtext in his character whatsoever. He speaks
No.
all of his thoughts.
He's got to make sure everybody knows that he is thinking. Ladies and
Big
gentlemen,
brain. Biggest brain.
I'm thinking.
But
Please, a gentleman is thinking. A man is
he
thinking.
did go to Georgetown and MIT, so
Oh, well, la-dee-da.
hey, I'm in the same boat. I'm known for attending the Georgetown and MIT of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. Dan's also known for being the man with a big brain here. A man is thinking.
Constantly. I am always thinking.
Constantly.
I'm going to start announcing that I'm thinking whenever I'm thinking. So you'll never hear me
Silence
say
2
it.
is a 10 is speaking.
They also this was one of the the reason obviously that they can't just go walk into the Benjamin Franklin Institute is because they now know who that Nick Cage was the one who stole it, whatever. But
Yeah.
Riley is seemingly invisible at this point. Like,
yeah, does anybody know who Riley is right now?
Like, the FBI did find, like, daddy dates tied up by this point. So maybe got information, but yeah. Anyway.
Also, when they get to Philadelphia, I didn't mention this. They need to go incognito. So, of course, they go to maybe the best place to find your disguise clothes. Comic Sans Urban Outfitters, which was their logo at the time.
I couldn't with Urban Outfitters. I was like, so they got about $1,000 just lying around to spend on some new clothes, huh?
It's like the most expensive place you could get new clothes.
Yeah.
Also, Sean Bean notices... I'm going to rephrase the sentence. Sean Bean stares at a child
Correct.
And realizes that he's giving clues to Nicolas Cage, so he holds up the little kid who tells him everything that's happening. So, Nicolas Cage, figuring out the clue, he uses the time on the back of a $100 bill to go and find where the shadow of the steeple was at that point, even though the shadow would change depending on the season, because the sun's position in the sky changes on the season.
Yeah, that's exactly what Gage said too. He was going on and on about how all of this, he's like, what if it's a cloudy day? I'm like, I don't know. Let me just enjoy myself. Is that Lily, Cassie?
She's here.
Give her kisses for me. I love her.
Cassie is kissing
Thank
a
you.
cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lily is a good
She's
girl.
a very
So's
good
Charlie,
girl.
but Lily likes me more.
So they find a pair of glasses with multicolored lenses, like the Spy Kids zoom-in glasses.
Oh my god, those glasses. Honestly, hipsters today would be
Are you
dying
kidding
for
me?
those glasses.
Those could drop for like $1,000, and they'd be going.
Yeah,
for them.
at the very least.
We don't need any more sneaker heads. What we need are glasses heads.
That would be me.
That's how I'm trying to be.
If I could afford my lenses more, I would have so many pairs of glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but another like stroke of luck. I feel like these are remarkably well preserved for being so old.
Incredibly, no
And
scratches.
Yeah.
no
in a
nothing.
brick outside.
I mean, we can. But they were like in a box hidden. They weren't in the exposed light, we can assume, but
You're
still.
also telling me that they've like never like redone the masonry on that. Like,
Yeah, true. Like somebody wasn't touching that up and it's just like sealed up.
like all of like the grouting
I guess
was
not.
like fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, we are telling you that nobody's redone the masonry, Cassie.
I guess that's
Sounds fake,
really
but okay.
impressive 1700s,
Yeah.
Independence Hall.
So, of course, the gang is again chased by Sean Bean, and Nicolas Cage gets arrested by the FBI, and then, because of traffic, they lose the Declaration of Independence to Sean Bean.
Always.
And the
really,
FBI...
It's because that cyclist was riding on the sidewalk. Which,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Uh-oh.
Like,
Dan, you're
given
a
bad
cyclist.
I would
news
fight
for
him.
all
Oh my
cyclists.
gosh. I hate whenever anybody comes near a sidewalk on a bike. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, get off.
Oh
This
god.
is not for you.
Be a car. Be an asshole in traffic and make people drive slowly behind you. Don't make people jump out of the way.
No.
I don't know.
God, I
I
hate
don't know
getting
how
stuck behind a
2004
bicycle.
bike lanes were, but even still, should be on the
The
sidewalk.
bike lanes didn't exist in 2004 because there were only 8 bicycles in the world.
I forgot.
Philadelphia is a bigger city, though. Maybe it did. Maybe they did.
So the FBI comes up with a deal with Nicolas Cage that's like, behind door number 1, you go to jail for a long time. Death penalty, him, cowards. Behind door number 2, you help us and also go to jail for a very long time. I don't know why he would take door number 2.
He's not very good at negotiating.
No.
No, he really isn't. Especially because he's getting like the catch me if you can treatment. Like, yeah, you can go to jail, but then you can work for us. But nobody offered to let him work for them. He could have been working with them, but guess not.
And as part of his deal, he has to go to the deck where Cassie once sang choir music. I assume she sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic and taps.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Do you remember what you sang for that?
I do actually, only because there's a video of it on the internet that I found the other night. We're not on the deck, we're inside because it was January of 2012. But we sang
how unfortunate.
The Brotherhood of Man.
From How to Succeed
You mean
in Business?
from How to Succeed?
I think so, yes.
Oh.
Because we also then, on that trip, one of the shows we saw, I think we saw Sister Act was on Broadway at the time, and How to Succeed was on Broadway. Starring Darren Criss, which my little 16-year-old me was quaking.
As an adult, I would have been quaking. I was going to say, was it Daniel Radcliffe? Was it Nick Jonas? Was it Darren Criss? Which of these white men was it, Cassie? All equally quakeable, you know?
They're the same cereal, but they're the different generic brands at all the different grocery stores.
Pretty much. They all got that curly brown hair. Daniel Radcliffe's American voice makes me nervous, but other than that, he's pretty good.
But yeah, you know, if you want to see a very poor quality video of a bunch of high schoolers singing that song on the USS Intrepid, you know, it exists.
I might want
There's
to.
nothing
We
I
don't
want
know.
to see more than a group of high schoolers singing poorly.
We're actually singing pretty well, but you know.
Oh.
Not to toot my own horn, but Stevenson had a pretty great choir.
Oh my goodness.
I need to rekindle my high school rivalry and say boo.
I know, I'm so sorry.
I'm from
If
Wisconsin.
it makes you feel any better, I kind of hate us too, you know. A lot of feelings about my high school.
Because the gang knows that they're meeting on the Intrepid, they plan a way to break Nicolas Cage out of the loosest custody possible, which he gets because he's a rich white guy.
They literally, were holding him with, I don't know, what are those called? Pipe cleaners.
Yeah. They're holding him with a promise more than anything.
Yeah.
Don't be bad. Mm-hmm. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Just kidding. Don't use a helicopter to disguise where you're going. That definitely would have been shot down before it got there, because that's restricted airspace. Yeah.
They also, so another issue that I had, or just, thing I noticed, was, because when they first look at the Declaration through the glasses, he, just looked at it through, the colors that were down. Why would you not, he didn't realize that he should probably, flip the lenses until, he saw Mr. FBI man doing it in interrogation. It's why wouldn't that be the first thing you did?
Yeah.
I would have been trying all the different lenses. He clearly never had, one of those books that you're supposed to wear 3D glasses for, and you, close one eye to see one picture and close the other one to see the other.
For a professional treasure hunter, it's not very good.
Not very good.
No, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
We could have hunted this treasure just as good, if not better, y'all.
Well, I mean, there's also, all of these instances where I was man, it's been 200-something years and nobody ever noticed this, weird symbol here, or this, or that there's an entire, chasm underneath the city of New York.
Yeah. It's 400 feet deep.
And it took, how many
Never
generations
noticed.
of this family?
Never noticed. It took enough generations that they know who he is.
And they know that...
And he can't give out his name.
They know his family has a history of being conspiracy theorists. How deep does your family have to be into it that it crosses generational lines?
I don't know.
Too deep.
Too deep.
So... Sean Bean gives back the Declaration of Independence and tries to get the clue from him, but Nicolas Cage, being coy, says, I've given you all that I know. And then, of course, he reveals that he has his father locked in the back of the car. Perfect. Just what I want to do.
Gasp.
To which he says out loud, Dad, because we could not
in case we forgot
how how Nick Cage is emotionally feeling without him telling us.
No. I would have guessed that he felt any sort of way.
He's not known to feel, he's known to think.
That's true.
Yeah, Cassie. They don't pay me to feel.
So they all go inside Trinity Church, and they look at the Declaration of Independence using all their fun lenses.
Yes, get it.
Where they find a clue.
Should have figured that out earlier.
They find a clue to go look at the tomb of one guy, and they're looking at it, and then one of the goons just starts going at it with a sledgehammer. He's practical. He's got a stick-to-itiveness. He should be leading this.
But like,
group.
also that feels illegal.
100%.
Like going at somebody's
100%.
anybody's tomb. Like it doesn't matter if they're connected to. Yeah.
What's more illegal, that or stealing the Declaration of Independence?
They feel the same to me.
I feel like probably the Declaration of Independence, but you know,
maybe depends on the day.
What was also criminal is the skeleton that falls out of the coffin. When,
yeah,
like that
Stop.
is not
Some of these skeletons.
That's not just fully formed skeleton. Just.
I got that skeleton prop you wanted. They were having a sale at Home Depot.
This one's got a daiquiri
Halloween
glass
sale.
And sunglasses on. Do you want to keep it in there?
Yeah. That makes sense for 1776.
They've robbed like this is not. I feel like this is not the first grave that like. It's like you could make the argument that the ship in the beginning was like a grave site that they've robbed and destroyed. And,
Yeah. You could make that that comment.
Some casual grave robbing.
Yeah. Just another day, another grave robbery.
So the gang, the good gang and the evil gang all end up in this gigantic cavern that Brendan Fraser would then take on his journey to the center of the earth 4 years later.
Oh my god. No.
And they have a fight because that's what you do when it seems like things are going nowhere.
Start throwing hands.
The good gang gets kind of trapped in the basement after Nicolas Cage throws Diane Kruger after the Declaration of Independence.
Stop. I'm still upset.
Suck face.
Yeah.
What? How come that never happens to me? Says one of the other crew members.
It's just like,
but also so forced.
He's just like, come here, and it's.
Sir, where was the "may I kiss you"? You know, I used to think that was stupid when I was little, but now as an adult, how do you know she wasn't not feeling it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She should have been like, what are you doing? No. This is not how this goes. I am better than you.
I always ask. Always
and,
ask.
Back to the whole, like, you know, I would not die for the Declaration of Independence thing.
No. I wouldn't die for any paper.
But I would, like, kill a man who had like talked so demeaningly to me as Nick Cage's character did to save the Declaration of Independence.
I'd be like, oops.
Like, oops, sorry, gonna drop you. Like when she's
Where'd
like, oh, I would have done the
pushes
same,
him.
I would be like, yeah, you should do the same.
Because he was mean to you. He was straight up being rude.
Oopsies, butterfingers.
Oops, kicks him. Steps on his toes while he's holding onto the ledge.
So Nicolas Cage basically, when they get to a dead end, it's not Nicolas Cage who claims this, but his dad, deranged lunatic John Voight, who says that the one lantern...
He was in here tonight, Raven. That's all I can think of.
Oh, man.
So John Voight is like, this one lantern, it's about Paul Revere. You gotta go to the Old North Church. That's where the real treasure is. Anyway, we have to save our country from the radical left that's coming. Sorry, I jumped a little ahead into the future.
I'm triggered. I am triggered.
So the bad guys leave through their escape rope that they got in their backpack from Pokemon, I guess. They all just conveniently shuffle out a side door like they're exiting a roller coaster ride. Leaving...
Yeah, they all took the chicken door.
Yeah, leaving the gang alone in the basement. And at this point, I'm like, oh, there's 5 more minutes left of this movie. There's 20 more minutes plus 10 minutes of credits.
Yeah.
I knew what happened after this. And I was like, they find the treasure room, blah, blah, blah. Justin Bartha gets a car. But no, there's so much more. I mean, there's not. But there's more time.
You have to have.
There's more time.
You have to have the critical 5 minutes of them going into the like that first room after like the secret door, and then
that's all been looted.
The emotional development of we've spent our whole life and now the treasure is gone. Somebody took it, and like, but that's okay because the real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
It absolutely was.
Now group kiss, all 4 at a time.
Everyone's kissing. There's tongues everywhere.
Basically, I just want to see Nicolas Cage and Jon Voight kiss. That's what we were...
I don't know that Jon Voight would be down for that. I'm on his Twitter right now, and it feels like he would say no. But if he says no, at least there was consent. You know what I mean? We asked.
Yes.
And Nick Cage's character could be learning a thing or two.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically they find the first room, and they're like, oh, all the treasure's gone. But then... Nicolas Cage finds a very tiny glory hole that he could stick a pipe into.
Stop, Dan. That's not what it's America's glory hole.
He sticks America's meerschaum pipe into America's glory hole, and billions dollars of treasure and gold and everything is found in there, and everybody's happy. And they have an exit tunnel, which is perfect. They have another way to get out. So they don't... I think it would have been much better if they were stuck in there with all the treasure. And they all had to die in there. That would have been a very dark ending.
That would have been really sad. I do like when Riley goes, oh, and they're like, why are you sounding so happy? He's like, there's a door.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like...
Mood.
It was... Because he was sounding defeated, and then he said, it's because there are stairs.
Yeah.
Because the only way to get out is stairs. Which,
still.
like, honestly, that's what I would say. That's a lot of stairs.
Honestly, though, I'd be like, at least I can get out of here. I am not a fan of... my parents took me to the caves once in Tennessee. Or in Kentucky, in Mammoth Cave. And, like, it was cool, but it's also kind of scary. Like, it's just a little scary. And I would not be along for this ride. It's cold down there. Like, there's weird dripping noises. I don't know. It's not for me. I am not an adventurer.
Considering that I am both 85 years old and also a 3-year-old, I am terrified of the dark.
Yes.
So this would not have been... And, like, being lit by one torch that you're carrying around like it's caveman times, I would not have been able to handle this. I would have had a panic attack, like, when we stepped into the church and the lights weren't on. And you were only lit by the sunlight. Like, no, too dark.
Yeah, I mean, what I would be more concerned about is that, like, clearly no one has been using this, like, tunnel, you know, infrastructure for hundreds of years. Like, that was not a good idea.
So, basically, the gang all gets clemency because they tell the FBI where everything is. And the FBI agent, Harvey Keitel... He is a Freemason. Dun dun dun. Good to know. That doesn't come up in the sequel. And basically, Ian and his men get arrested because they get tipped off. And then we flash forward 35 years in the future. Nicolas Cage and Diane Kruger are in a relationship. Riley's upset that he turned down the finder's fee, the 10% finder's fee, because he would have gotten more money. Anyway, Riley gets into his fun little sports car, and then Abigail gives Nicolas Cage a new treasure map. He doesn't know where it goes, and she says, "You'll figure it out," and sends a credits roll.
Let me tell you right now, I screamed. I was like, that's not children's. That's not a children's scene in a children's movie, a sexual treasure map. I don't think so. I had to go pray afterwards.
I didn't realize that until you just said it. I just thought, ooh, a new adventure. But no, the treasure is her vagina.
Yeah. Dan, the treasure is the friendships we made along the way.
It's a map to her G-spot because he could never find that.
Like a big circle, like... Probably. It's a map to...
He could think about it, though.
Her finally...
He would say that he's thinking about it. Never find it.
He's not. He's probably a selfish lover.
Anyway, speaking of selfish lovers, that's National Treasure.
I feel like it is very American that the national treasure of the United States of America is all of this stolen like
Yeah.
artifacts
Yes.
from other places in the world.
Correct.
And when they're like when they're in the cave for the first time, and somebody from Ian's gang is like how could they possibly build this thing? And Nick Cage is like they built the pyramids or the Great Wall, and it's like, yeah, with slaves.
Slaves?
Stop! I didn't even put that together. Oh God. No. Oh.
Yeah, just a lot of slave labor, I guess.
Yeah.
And indentured
A lot of
servantry.
slave labor, a lot of stolen stuff from other countries.
Indentured servitude is just slavery with a fancier name.
Correct. Yep.
It's a way to get, like, the poor people in your country to be poor in the new country. As opposed to stealing people who are, anyway, slavery.
So, Cassie, you're our guest.
Yes.
Now that we've gone through the whole movie, what are your thoughts?
I feel like it's like I said earlier, it's one of those movies that I feel like my recollection of it from when I was a kid and I loved it so much is like pretty accurate to like how it actually is, which is kind of surprising. I still very much enjoy it. There's a lot of nostalgia, so I'm sure that that's like part of it, but I had a good time. It was fun.
Anna?
I still love it. Thank you very much.
It was also...
I don't know. I just thought it was fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ugh. There were also a lot of points where I, like, wrote in my notes just, like, the Illuminati, like, do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
It's just...
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm going to be...
I just think it's fun. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can finish your thought.
I don't know. I just think it's fun and cute, and I know, like, we tore every little part of it apart, but it's just one of those movies that you watch if you just want to have a good adventure.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like, obviously, like, I think when I was a kid, this whole thing seemed way more plausible. Like, I was like, like, little me in 2004 was like, oh yeah, we could steal, like, you could steal the Declaration of Independence, and there's definitely a treasure hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously now, like, watching it, you can totally pick apart the parts that, like, are not plausible whatsoever, but it's still very fun to watch, and, like, that, you know, it's not supposed to be realistic. And, like, honestly, like, this movie has everything. Like, it's like the Stefan bit from, like, SNL, where it's like, this movie has everything. It's a heist, it's a mystery, it's a treasure hunt, like...
Yes.
John Voight.
It truly does.
It has Nick Cage. It has glorification of America's founding fathers.
Yeah.
I love it.
American
I truly love it.
exceptionalism.
And some glasses that were made by Benjamin Franklin.
I also just realized this. Benjamin Franklin Gates, played by Nicolas Cage, has basically the same name as Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce of MASH. I was watching MASH yesterday, and I was like, oh, this would be better with Alan Alda. Even though it would have been a 70-something-year-old Alan Alda when this came out.
Oh, Lord.
Only
you would have
I know,
thought
only
of
I
that,
would have thought
Dan.
of that.
I'm just going to say it. Only you.
Sorry. Well, I watched an hour of MASH yesterday, of course. It was on right before Andy Griffith. God, I'm elderly.
You are
my
elderly.
6th grade, like, social studies teacher, I believe he was also my 7th grade social studies teacher. He had, like, such a thing for the Andy Griffith show. Like,
How old was he?
Seemingly was not that old. Like, when, like, he was probably my parents' age, maybe a little bit younger.
Okay.
But he
My
would,
parents really liked the
talk
Andy
about
Griffith
it
show.
all the time in class.
My mom does not like the Andy Griffith show. She thinks,
Really?
she thinks Andy Griffith is weird. She likes the Dick Van Dyke Show. She loves the Dick Van Dyke Show. That and Mary Tyler Moore. Anyways, that was off topic. I'm going to come in with a hot take. I didn't think this movie was very good upon rewatching it. I don't think it holds up very well. I was comparing it because it's like, it's also because it came out in 2004. If this movie had come out in 1997, I think it would be better because it is like the last of the 90s like light action movie, like really quippy but still very serious action movies. Like comparing it to Speed, which is what I was thinking when I was watching it. Like this and Speed have very similar energy to steal from the TikTok kids. But I would give Speed, but Speed gets like an 8 out of 10 from the Russian judge, and this like a 4 maybe. It's just I thought it was. I normally don't care about movie realism. I think that anything that happens in a movie is realistic for the universe that it takes place in. I just didn't think that. I thought that everything went too easy for them. Like
That's
how
a good
everything
point, yeah.
everything worked on the first try, and Nicolas Cage is so terrible in this movie. And not acting wise, he's fine. He's Nicolas Cage, but his character is so terrible. He's just like a. Oh my God, he's like the worst professor that you had in college who thinks that he's a know-it-all and doesn't realize that he absolutely sucks.
Yeah, he is very unlikable like, as a character. That's true. And and that is something that I thought a lot about. Like, there were so many like failure points in the whole plan of like everything that they did, and it just always went right. And I do think that like if I did not have like such nostalgic feelings towards this movie, like I would, like I feel like part of my enjoyment of it, a huge part of my enjoyment of it is just like the nostalgia factor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And also just like directing wise, it's not a very creatively directed movie. Like at least cinematography wise, like shots and all that. It's not a pretty movie. It's not an ugly movie. It's a movie that's on TNT at 3 p.m, and you watch because there's nothing else on, and in 20 minutes, The Dark Knight starts.
What a combo. What a back-to-back lineup.
National Treasure followed by its sequel, The Dark Knight.
Love it.
Also, I think I may be tainted by the last, I don't know, I'll say 2 weeks, but maybe 3 months, maybe 4 years of life that we've been living. Because seeing how easy it was to steal a podium from from Capitol Hill, maybe
you're really trying to trigger me
maybe
today.
It wouldn't be that difficult to steal the Declaration of Independence because they're white and the cops wouldn't stop them.
I wonder if Nick Cage's character worked a little too hard to get it. You know what I mean? Just a little too hard. He could have walked back there and they'd been like, "Oh, right this way, sir. I see you're white." It'd be like that horrible Family Guy sketch where they pull Peter over and they have the thing and it's like the skin colors that are acceptable and the skin colors that are not acceptable.
Yeah.
That's the vibes it kind of gives me. But that's, again...
that was definitely something that I thought about too. And also just that, like, in general, in the last couple of years, I'm like, the United States, not such a great country. Like, in this...
not a big fan of the deification of the founding fathers and founding documents.
Yeah, and like, because presumably their whole thing is like that, George Washington probably like knew about this huge treasure that they had. And like, you're telling me the founding fathers didn't want to use that good
to buy more slaves,
to buy more stuff to fund the Revolutionary War.
Amen. Buy some food for their troops that are dying.
And the whole thing was like, because the Knights of Templar or whatever were like, oh, like this treasure is too big for one person, so we're gonna take it and give it to America so that it can be held by the people. And like, that's not how.
No,
that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. And then my last political thing is that John Voight is in this, and John Voight has gone insane.
This is why he went insane.
Are you sure this movie is what pushed him over the edge?
No, this is what got him into it. This was the seed, and now he's a beautiful flower.
Yeah, this is...
I looked up his Twitter and I felt sad.
I mean, like, this is the kind of outcome that, like, every QAnon conspiracy theorist would, like, dream of.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Not only
No, stop. Don't give them ideas, Cassie.
not only do you steal government property,
National
but you get celebrated for it. No.
How National Treasure became an extremist propaganda piece.
Okay. So, Cassie,
Yeah.
we do this with every guest for every movie. Who is your favorite actor or actress or whomever performer?
Yes, I was thinking about this because I knew that this was coming. And I feel like it's very hard for me to choose because I feel like I generally like don't have a specific one that lasts the test of time. But I feel like I have to go with David Tennant. I just get really excited whenever he's in anything.
An interesting choice.
So, would this movie be better, worse, or the same with David Tennant as Benjamin Franklin? Whatever his last name is, Gates.
Okay. I was gonna say as Benjamin Franklin,
Just
or
Benjamin Franklin.
as Ben Gates, because that's. I mean,
Just Benjamin Franklin.
Is he American?
Yeah, he's doing his whatever the Marvel show voice is.
Okay, yeah. I think he's a better actor, but I also feel like clearly he's a better actor. But I do feel like this part of why this movie is so iconic is because it's Nick Cage. So
Yeah.
it would be
Amen.
a very different movie. God, I don't know. I feel like acting-wise, like performance-wise, quality-wise, would be better, but
Would it be as memorable?
it would not be as memorable at all, or as iconic. However, if he was playing the Sean Bean character, 10 out of 10 would have been so good. If he was like a Scottish mob boss, like, would have turned that character into like much more of a character.
Yeah.
That would have been an interesting. I would love to
Right?
see that.
Yeah.
David Tennant, if you're listening, can you do a reading?
Him or Ewan McGregor
Yeah.
as Sean Bean's character. I think that'd be really
Ooh.
fun.
That would be really fun.
Would this movie be better, worse, or the same with a, at this point, 14 years deceased Jimmy Stewart?
Yes.
I should say Christopher Plummer, but I'm going to say as Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Yeah.
Yes.
His bones walking around.
Truly love it. An animated corpse.
We're going to steal the Declaration of Independence. That
Love it.
was terrible. It would be worse. I mean, he's a better actor, but again, it doesn't have the cultural significance that it has with Nicolas Cage in the role. Because Jimmy Stewart, he's got all of his starring stuff. You'll remember him for It's a Wonderful Life, which came out, 70 years prior to this. But Nicolas Cage, he needs this. He needs this to have that.
I feel like
To have whatever he has.
This is the only reason his
He needs this to
career
work.
didn't die
Yeah.
sooner.
This really, he begged Disney. He was like, please, for the love of God, please. I got bills.
And Anna, better, worse, or
Dan.
the same. Jonathan Taylor Thomas as Justin Bartha.
Better. Sorry, Riley. Bye. I think it would be so cute. I mean, he's got the right amount of sass to be a Jonathan Taylor Thomas character, but he's also just fun and geeky and cute. I think it would be a good fit because those are usually the kinds of characters JTT would play. Cute, but also kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realized I didn't do any trivia or anything about the movie after we finished the synopsis. There isn't much. This is the only movie where Sean Bean doesn't die, movie or TV show. Spoilers if you haven't watched
Wow.
the first season of Game of Thrones 10 years ago.
Yup. Or literally anything else he's in.
And in the original, they changed the ending originally. The original ending was and the adventure continues sort of thing, where it was an actual treasure map to something, as opposed to a treasure map to Puss, but they changed it.
Oh my God! Stop.
They changed it to what the ending is today because test audiences didn't like it.
They preferred a treasure map to the boudoir.
Well, apparently
to the
they
boudoir.
wanted, apparently that was fine for the second one, but then they just left us hanging for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
There is a third one in development currently, they say.
False.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. It's never going to be coming out ever.
Yeah.
We're never going to get it.
Well, so I mean, I also really didn't look up any trivia, but I did see that because I also saw that they say that there's a third one in development. There's also talk about a Disney Plus series, I think, which would
that
be
I would
cool.
watch.
I mean, I would watch both of them, but I feel like a series would be especially fun. But I did see an article about why they decided that they didn't want to continue with it, and it was basically because Disney did not deem National Treasure as being franchisable, which is fair. There's not merchandising is not super great. You can't put a National Treasure world in Disneyland. You could
try.
Yeah, you could try.
Maybe they could try.
You
could do a fun treasure hunt across the parks.
But there's
it can't be.
I'm not an Imagineer.
It can't be franchisable because it's all regular people, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no hook aside
true.
from this man with a bad hairline is a misogynist and needs to think out loud.
Yeah.
There's no superpowers
or pirates or anything.
I would absolutely wait in line to do some kind of Disney World experience where I have to find the
that sounds sick.
be awesome.
Hell yeah.
But there is a quote in this article. It's from Collider.com, and it says, "Clearly, nobody at the company was excited by the possibility of Nicolas Cage stealing another national monument, which is inexcusable and exhibits a clear lack of vision."
Honestly, true. Did I write this article? Did Cassie write this article? Who wrote this? Reveal yourself.
Lack of vision.
Okay. Cassie, on a scale of 1 to 5, clear lacking of vision, what do you give the movie?
I feel like I give it a 3, basically on the nostalgia factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anna?
I give it a 4 for nostalgia. Because I had more fun watching this movie than I have rewatching a movie in a long time.
That's good.
No offense to all the other movies we've watched recently. I just really... It's laughable, but it also just supplied me with some joy. So that was a good time.
I'm happy.
Dan?
I'm happy for you. I give it a 1.5.
Daniel!
That sounds right.
Why? That was ice cold, Dan.
I don't think it's a good movie.
You're no fun.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Cassie, if you want people to find you on the internet, or if you want to plug something or anything, now's your shot.
Yeah, if you would like to see pictures of, very inconsistent pictures of my progress on various granny hobby crafting projects, or pictures of my cats, you can follow me on Instagram at cassafrasmakes. It's a good time, I guess.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
When I
She
do
guesses.
post,
I guess.
Yeah. If you want to find the show on the internet, you could do so at And In Conclusion on Facebook and Twitter, at In Conclusion Podcast on Instagram. If you want to give us money, you could do that too,
Please.
so we can afford the podcast hosting. Basically, we just need to make enough after a year so we can pay the bill once a year. So that would be helpful. Patreon.com/inconclusion. The best way to support us, though, is spreading the word, telling your friends, bugging your elderly neighbors, just giving them a Spotify subscription and making them listen to everything without even knowing it.
Amen.
Really bumps the numbers up. That's great. Or leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. I've been told that's helpful. Because I think the only review right there is from me.
No, Cassie.
Hey!
And then I was like, but then I got scared because I was like, I don't remember what my username is. Like what this is going to come up as, if it's going to be something embarrassing.
Yeah, Cassie texted me promptly after writing it because of her panic.
And then if you want to find me on the internet, you can do so on Twitter at DanO'Keefe86, on Instagram at DLRAAR, or I have a TikTok that I post to very irregularly, at not Dan O'Keefe. And Anna,
very clever name,
I know,
Dan.
I'm going to keep coming up with different usernames for every social media account. Find me on Quora.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Don't. Anna, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at AutoMissPrime818, or you can find me on Twitter at AutobotsRollout, capital O for Auto, capital B for Bots, capital R for Roll, and the O in Roll and the O in Out are zeros.
Come back next week when we talk about Anna's Instagram username, as always. And also, National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. Ooh.
Gasps.
I'm excited for this one. It's been significantly longer since I watched that one, and I remember none of it. So
yeah,
I know.
It'll be fun.
We haven't watched it yet. I know that there's something about Gutzen Borglum, so get excited for that.
Get hyped.
In the meantime, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, wear a mask, don't commit treason, I guess.
Please,
I don't know.
please.
Bye-bye.
Can we just... Bye. Bye. I'm done. Bye. Well, I don't know if you've ever heard about the shorts incident where Gage attempted to take my life. Over the summer, Gage, apparently dropped trow before we went to bed and left his shorts right by my side of the bed. And I got up because I had to go to the bathroom, as one does from time to time. And I fell from our bedroom. I, had the slowest fall of my life, and I landed up on my back outside of the bathroom, still touching Gage's godforsaken shorts. And he wakes up, he's like, "Are you good?" I was like, "No, I'm not good, I'm on the floor." And he's like, that was the longest, most dramatic fall I've ever heard. So anyway, Gage tried to kill me last summer. And that's all there is to say about that.